Underway in our opening Dennison commercials, 4yo Geldings Maiden, and straight in the lead in the early part of the race is going to go Moves Like Monty with Devil's Skin for company as they begin to make their way on towards fence number 1. And they're being followed by Iron Decks with Officer Hops, and in between the runners then races the Dennis Murphy runner, that's Easter Junction, as they disappear briefly behind the trees on their way towards fence number 1. And out front it is Moves Like Monty who has the advantage from Devil's Skin and racing in second, and they're being followed back in third by Easter Junction as they come back into view again. Out front it is Moves Like Monty from Devil's Skin in second. They're being followed in third by Matty Flynn Connor's runner, that's Iron Decks. And then behind these, as they head on their way across the bottom of the track, races Easter Junction who's further back in mid-division. The Crawford runner, Dance Thief, is next as they prepare now to turn in towards the straight for the first time. And out front, it is showing the way Moves Like Monty, who has the advantage from in second, races Dance Thief, and they're being followed by Devil's Skin as they go on their way towards the next. Ballonowler is next out wide in the purple jacket, and they're being followed further back in the field by Iron Decks, who in turn is followed next up by Imperial Assassin, who's towards mid-division, and further back behind these to find Noel Kelly's runner, size 5, as they continue on their way towards their next fence. Further back behind these to find Officer Hoffs, who's towards the back with Easter Junction, and at this point the overall back marker is Mega Constellation as they clear out over fence number 4 and head on their way towards into the straight for the first time. No fence to the straight today with the omission of fence number 5, and out front it is Devil's Skin under Barry O'Neill, who just about has the narrow advantage from Moves Like Monty. Jamie Scallon is second. They're being followed back in the field in third by Imperial Assassin, the mountain Mikey Todian, and then behind this one races Iron Decks, who's the mount of Brian Lawless, as they continue down along the head side, shortly going to turn towards the back straight again. And further back behind these then to find Ballon Howlers, who in turn is followed by Easter Junction, and next up comes Dance Thief, the mount of Ben Crawford. Further back to Officer Hoffs and Dara McGill, who's towards the rear of mid-division in company with size 5 and John Barry. The overall back marker at this point is Mega Constellation and Alex Harvey, as they continue on their way now to head down along the back straight. And out front it is Moves Like Monty, who has the advantage, being followed in second by Devil's Skin. The duo race ahead of the remainders. They disappear behind the trees again and head on their way towards the next fence. And out over it is Devil's Skin with Moves Like Monty up on his outside. Further back behind these, as they continue on their way across the bottom to find, coming into view, is Imperial Assassin, and they're being followed by Iron Decks as they go towards the next fence. Out over it is Devil's Skin from Moves Like Monty. Imperial Assassin is next, and they're being followed by size 5 as they continue right across the bottom. And then behind these, further back in the field, races Ballonowler, who in turn is followed by Easter Junction, who's next, and then Officer Hoffs in size 5, and for a couple of lengths of a break opening up to Dance Thief. The overall back marker is still Mega Constellation. Turning in towards the two fences along the side of the course, and out front they'll be the final two in another circuit, and showing the way it is still Devil's Skin, who has the advantage, but up at his inside races Moves Like Monty, and they're being followed further back in the field behind these races Iron Decks and Ballonowler, who in turn is tracked on the inside by Imperial Assassin. Further back behind these to find Easter Junction, Officer Hoffs is next, and they're being followed next up by Dance Thief, who in turn is followed by size 5, and the overall back marker is Mega Constellation. Clearing out over the fence, though, it'll be the last and complete circuit's time, and it is Devil's Skin who disputes the advantage, as he has done since flagfall with Moves Like Monty. Moves Like Monty has an advantage of about her length, being followed back in third by Iron Decks, and they're being followed next up by Ballonowler with Imperial Assassin in Easter Junction. Further back to size 5 Yellow Jacket on the inside, who in turn is being followed by the blue colours of Officer Hoffs, and then behind this one races Dance Thief. The overall back marker is still Mega Constellation. Swinging the bend and heading down on the back straight for the final time of this contest, and it is still showing the way. It's the two Wexford runners out front. It is Devil's Skin in company with Moves Like Monty. They're being tracked further back by Iron Decks with Ballonowler, who's next, and then behind Ballonowler races Imperial Assassin, who in turn is followed then further back by Easter Junction with Officer Hoffs. Behind Officer Hoffs, as they head behind the trees again, races Dance Thief. The overall back marker is still Mega Constellation, who is size 5 just in front of him as they clear out over the fence at the bottom of the track and head on their way to turn the bend towards their fence that is going to be 3 from the finish. And out front it is still showing the way, moves like Monty with Devil's Skin still up on his outside. Further back behind these Tyrant Desk, who's trying to get involved and move to close third. Imperial Assassin is next, and then Easter Junction behind these, and they're being followed by Ballant Owler, who in turn is followed by Officer Hoffs, and then next up races Dance Thief, and they're going away from size 5. They're well clear over Mega Constellation, who's always been in rear. Straightening on towards their final 2 fences in our 4-year-old Geldings Maiden, sponsored by Dennison Commercials. And in the centre, it is still Moves Like Monty who has the advantage coming through. Mistake there from Devil's Skin in the second position. Pulled up before it was Mega Constellation. As they begin now to make their way on towards the final fence, it's Devil's Skin and Barry O'Neill who have the advantage. Been chased in second by Easter Junction and Harley Dunn, but as they come on towards the final fence, back in third then is Iron Dex and Brian Lawless. Final fence for Devil's Skin. Easter Junction's about 2 lengths down, and Devil's Skin is over the last. Mistake by Easter Junction. Then back in third is Imperial Assassin, who being a bad mistake, and on Seahead, Mikey Tobin. But as they straighten up towards home, it's going to be Devil's Skin for Colin Bowe and Barry O'Neill, who are going to see it out just from. Back in second will be Easter Junction. Harley Dunn without his irons. Very tight for third. That could go to. Over on the far side was Iron Dex. They were followed in then by Ballant Owler, who's next, and they're followed in then by Officer Hoffs, and then size 5 final finishers are Dance Thief and Moves Like Monty.